Hello YouTube, I hope everybody is doing great. Today I want to show you something that I'm working on again, and it is a fingerprint ignition slash touch to start project for my car. So in case you're wondering what this brick is, this is what I did about, I think it's like 25 years ago, maybe even more, before you got the RVRs, well, microcontrollers, and like the Arduino 328. And this is what you did for timing and whatnot, and this was a remote entry plus ignition plus again also remote push button start. Unfortunately this never got finished, and I finished the board but I never did install it. So this is how it looked like a long time ago, before you had professional PCB manufacturing like PCBWay for example, and that will be a sponsor for this project as well, because I'm working on a new design for this whole thing, and I will have PCBWay do it. So quick intro for that. This video is sponsored by PCBWay.com. Not only does PCBWay offer high quality PCB services, which include standard PCBs, they also offer advanced PCBs, flexible PCBs, and PCB assembly. You can upload your Gerber files and select the options according to your needs, including SMD stencil and assembly services. On the top of the page you can make your selection. PCBWay also has CNC machining, sheet metal cutting and bending, 3D printing and injection molding services. You can choose from a vast variety of materials. You can upload your CAD file for an instant online quote, including the selection of your preferred material and surface finish. They also offer anodizing of aluminum parts in different colors and surface treatments. You can get sheet metal fabrication and laser cutting, 3D printing services, and cover your injection molding needs. PCBWay is your one-stop solution for hobbyist and professional manufacturing as well. Okay, let's continue. So this was just something I built and it's been sitting around ever since. And I have bought this fingerprint sensor a while ago, I think almost 2 years ago, and it's extremely small. And this is the back of it. As you can see, it has its own microcontroller because the fingerprints that you enroll are actually saved on this chip, and it does do the enrolling and also matching of fingerprints. And I never could get it to work. I tried many libraries. It just did not work. For a while I thought I have damaged it through 5 volt on RX and TX. It communicates over serial, and I thought myself the last time, well, a couple days ago, I thought to myself, I better throw it out before I waste time again trying to get it to work. And then I saw a video which uses the Adafruit library, Adafruit fingerprint library, and lo and behold, it did work. And then I started to take that code and made changes to it, like adding a screen and outputs and whatnot. And I also have this push button start that I bought a while ago, also about maybe 2 years ago. And when I all started with the CAN gauges, and I never got around to install it. And now finally that I have that, because the problem is if I install this over the key, I have to have a way to turn on the ignition and turn it off. So, and I didn't want to just put a switch somewhere which anybody could just flick a switch and turn it on, or mount a key somewhere or something like that, like the electronic keys. So that was my idea, to do it with a fingerprint, and now finally I can do it. And let me show you what the code looks like. This is just a PCB that I'm trying it on, one of my many PCBs, and I will make a dedicated PCB for this. And right now it's running off battery. Obviously it will, once it's installed, run off 12 volt. Let me turn it on again and say something. You saw the light flashing. It does that when it gets communication between the AVR and the fingerprint. So it does have communication. This particular fingerprint sensor has 4 LEDs, dual color LEDs, red and blue. So you can have it either light up in red, in blue, or in purple. If you combine those, you can have it blink, you can have it fade, you can have it turn on, turn off. And I made it, and this is just a intro. This code is also work in progress, so it will change around a bit. So first of all, if somebody touches it with the wrong finger, it blinks red and nothing happens. And it's pretty fast. And then I have programmed my right hand to it for now. So if I touch it with a correct finger, like so, it blinks blue because I don't have green, and the fingerprint turns green, and the NeoPixel turns green, and I have 5 volt output to the switch, which this will turn on ignition, and then I can push and start the car. Actually touch and start. Small but a difference. Most cars you push it and wait till the car starts, and I don't like that. I don't want to hold it there even though it's very short. I just want to push, let go, and then the car starts itself. That's where this came in with the different timers, adjustable timers. Normally it takes about 0.7, 0.8 seconds for a car to start up. I might do it RPM based, I'm not sure yet. So it will crank the engine till the RPM goes to a minimum like 600 or 700 RPM, which also depends on the car, on the engine actually. The bigger the engine, the lower the RPM is, idle RPM. Or I could make it sense the voltage, because once the engine starts running, you get the 13.7 volts from the alternator, and that could make it stop cranking. And of course it will have, if the first crank fails, it will get a second crank, so you won't have to touch again. And anyway, and once you drive whatever and you come to a stop, you can just touch it again. You get the blue acknowledgement, fingerprint turns red, the NeoPixel turns red. I mean, it's just on the board, so I use it for feedback, and your ignition turns off. And say I turn it on, and then somebody else wants to turn it off, but it doesn't work. So any wrong finger does not work. And the sensor, it's now a little small, also has an indication on how well it did read the fingerprint, the store fingerprint. So the last time, I have to get closer, okay, this changes between 0 and 255. So the last reading was 147. It's so pretty good acknowledgement. Here it's now only 45, but it was enough to turn it off. Now it's 62. Now it did not read it. Okay, now it's 185. so it works pretty good. And then on this sensor you can have 128 fingerprints scanned in and saved. Well, obviously not that many people will drive my car, and so I have only 5 fingers saved. So it says here ID 1. If I touch it, if I can get this to work in front of the camera, if I can touch it with my index finger, it's ID 2, and you can also assign a name to it. That's my middle name, and that's my middle finger, that's my last name, and then if I go to my thumb, it reads hello HAYRI'. So I will probably make this fingerprint, even though I like it very much. I will make it smaller a little bit, and then add like ignition on, ignition off, or whatever, touch the fingerprint sensor. So I will do some useful stuff. I could also use the display for something else on the car, or engine has started, or show RPM. I might even combine it with my CAN bus gauge, so I could have with the fingerprint this display, and use it for displaying whatever I want, like my other CAN bus gauges. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might even, this display is not necessarily, because you have your indication here, and then obviously this will turn on, and this light is not very bright, but it's bright enough. During the day you see this knob, it's not too small, and at night it's just bright enough to not blend you. So anyway, I will release the code once it's finished up. And like I said, I'm using the Adafruit fingerprint library. I will put a link in the description to it if you want to check it out. You can buy these on AliExpress, and I might offer a kit with just the electronics, or including the fingerprint sensor and including the switch, or you could use this only to turn your ignition on if you have a switch, or whatever you want to do. You could technically, with having so many different fingers and IDs, and I can assign an output to each ID, you could control other things in your car, like lights or windows or whatever it might be. So anyway, as I said, this is work in progress. If you're interested, leave me a comment. If you want to check out my other products, my WU-meter clocks, I have way too many clocks, and some of them are on my Tindy store, some of them are not. If you're interested, please leave me a message. This is also my micro volume that I can use for adjusting the volume of my PC. That's volume up, volume down, push it, and then it's muting. You can use this for anything other than volume as well. And this is it for today. I hope you liked it. If you're interested, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I wish you a great upcoming week. Thanks a lot. Take care.